So, hey guys, this is our second class meeting. It's in week 3. We're going to be talking about how to translate personal experiences into third person instead of using first and second today. So I took a quick poll before the recording started, and basically the people who were in class wanted me to go through and make adjustments, and then them to ask questions based on the example. So let me sort of start by asking you guys that are here, do you have any questions? You submitted your thesis statement today, or not today, on Friday. I've gotten comments back to you today. So let me share so I've got a thesis statement and a paragraph that I've written in first person and second person, I believe. Yes, first and second person. So we're going to kind of work through and sort of tweak these things as we go. Okay, so let me share that Word doc with you. All right, cool. So now you guys can see, let me zoom this in and make it bigger. All right, so I picked, there is a video on Blackboard about how to do this just in its most basic. I think it's like 7 minutes long, so this will be a little bit more in depth. But I decided to, in the video, work with my favorite hobby, right? Because that one would be most likely to, need to make conversions from first and second person into third. But so does your favorite restaurant, right? And so does, any of these potential topics. They're all asking you to relay personal experiences. So in your mind, it's easier to just say, oh, I like this thing. I do this because this, right? But we need to convey it in a way that's more universal, right? So let's take a look at our thesis statement. That's this guy up here, okay? And this is kind of a lot of what I saw as I was looking through the thesis statements. So my favorite restaurant is Moe's. I like it because it is a unique and relaxing environment. It provides customers with quality food and offers many options. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this first sentence. Okay, and the reason for that is, okay, my favorite restaurant is Moe's, sure, but our thesis statement for this assignment should be only one sentence long. So I need to figure out how to kind of combine these two sentences to clearly identify that my favorite restaurant is Moe's and I like it for these reasons. And so the best way to do that, actually, we don't even have to cut it out. We can cut out this, I like it, right? Because guess what? The reader knows you like it because you're talking about, you're the one writing. So now we've got it down to my favorite restaurant is Moe's because it's a unique and relaxing environment and provides customers with quality food and offers many food options. Cool. So there is no first person in this later part of the sentence, right? But we still have this sort of first person hanging out over here, right? My favorite restaurant is Moe's. So what do we do to get rid of that? Well, what I'm going to recommend is we just cut that part out, and then we can say something like Moe's is an excellent restaurant because it's a unique, or I don't like because it is a unique and relaxing environment. I'm going to change is to provides, right? Just so it can be a little bit more specific. Sure, it is a unique and relaxing environment, but it's not, this is a little bit more specific and it gives it a little bit more formality, right? Remember that this is using formal written English, right? So it needs to be a little bit more formal, but nothing crazy. And this just gives it just a touch of formality. So now our thesis statement is Moe's is an excellent restaurant because it provides a unique and relaxing environment. It provides customers with quality food and offers many options. All right, I like it except for the fact that I say provides twice. So let's tweak that, right? So we can say it offers, whoops, forgot a letter. It offers customers quality food. So we take out with. And, oh no, we've done it again. We have offers twice in a row. So what do we do there? Let me just get rid of that extra spacing. Well, we tweak that again. So let's see, what's another synonym for offers or provides? We could go with has, right? That would be nice and simple. Or we can say there are many food options, right? So we can play around with it. So writing isn't something that you just stick down on a page and then you're stuck with it, right? That's not really how it works. So what you want to do is you want to write something down, and you can write it in, the same way that you think if you want, kind of, if you think anything like me, it's a bunch of stuff jumbled together, right? And then you can untangle it as you go, kind of like what we did here. And we said, okay, well, now that we've taken this first person out, we need to, kind of tweak things here and there. Let's change this word. Then, oh no, now it made a conflict and made it repetitive with another word. Let's change that one. Uh-oh, we did it again. Time to change again, right? So writing is all about tweaking and about just making things stronger as you go, right? But now we have a pretty quality thesis statement here. Moe's is an excellent restaurant because it provides a unique and relaxing environment. It offers customers quality food, and there are many food options, right? So boom, we know we're talking about Moe's being an excellent restaurant. That's our statement of purpose. And then we know that the first forecast element, and thus body paragraph 1, is that it provides a unique and relaxing environment. Body paragraph 2 is going to be talking about the quality food. And then body paragraph 3 is going to be talking about the food options, right? So cool. We've now got that checked off. Let's scoot this paragraph up here. Just wrote this out really quickly. There's one thing right off the bat that I want to point out, and the benefit to you guys being a term A class, right? The one that's like 15 weeks long instead of the shorter term, is that I've actually just received and graded drafts for this first essay from my term B class, and what I've found as I've been teaching these short-term and longer-term classes is that each term there are kind of similarities that crop up that are specific to the term, things that everyone kind of falls into, or not everyone, but a good chunk of people fall into. So one thing that I noticed with their drafts is that paragraphs weren't indented, right? So you always want to make sure that you indent paragraphs, each paragraph as you go. So that's just a little reminder there, right? So first off, I noticed there's a little red squiggly line here, and it's telling me that I forgot to include my apostrophe. All right, if you see a red squiggly line, in case you don't know this, it means that you've got a spelling issue. If you have a blue line under it, it means that likely that you're missing a comma, or there's some sort of other grammatical issue. Maybe it's a sentence fragment or something like that. Now, where Microsoft Word is not infallible, it does provide you with an opportunity to say, okay, hey, check this out. You'll want to pay a little bit more attention to this. It offers you an example. It may not always be correct, right? Because sometimes it's not, but it just draws your attention to it. So, make sure that you look at the signals that Word offers you. Okay, so let's read this paragraph out loud. Moe's is a great restaurant because it is a unique and relaxing environment. Okay, we expected that, right? Because above, that matches the statement of purpose, right? That Moe's is a great restaurant. Up in the thesis, I used excellent. So if you want to use excellent again, you can do that. Or another synonym of excellent works just fine, as long as that same statement of purpose is kind of represented in the topic sentence somehow. Because it is a unique and relaxing environment. Boom, there's our forecast element. So we know without seeing anything else that this is body paragraph 1, right? Because this here matches this first forecast element. Cool. So I'm looking in this first sentence. Oh, it's telling me something else here. What is it telling me? Now that we changed this from great to excellent, it's saying, hey, something's a little wonky, right? And it's telling me we want to change it to an, right? And we do. Because, nope, wrong letter. And because great began with a consonant, A worked fine, but once we changed it to excellent, then we need to make it an because excellent starts with a vowel. Okay, so we've got Moe's is an excellent restaurant because it's a unique and relaxing environment. When you walk in, the store is airy and bright, and the rock music that they play is both upbeat and relaxing. I really love to sit in the booth in the back corner because most people sit at the front of the store, so it's really quiet, and I usually like to work there while I eat. Also, the air conditioning is set at a temperature that does not make me freeze like most other fast food places. Okay, so there's a lot of content in here, and in most of the, actually I think in every sentence, there's some first or second person, So let's take a peek through here. Let's identify what we need to change first. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the first and second person that we're seeing. When you walk in, essentially what you're doing, if you write like this in your essay, is you're saying, okay, so you, the reader, is going to walk into Moe's. And that could be fine for something that's as, you know, as I guess chill, for a lack of a better word. Sorry, I took a Benadryl this morning because of allergies, and it's made my brain a little bit fuzzy. When you walk in, right, you're saying, okay, you as a reader, when you walk into the store, do you really want to do that? No, you don't want to do that. And the reason that you don't want to tell your reader that they are going to walk into the store is, in this case, they might hate Moe's, right? We don't know. And they might be like, well, I'd never walk in there. And then you have a hurdle to jump over, right? You want to avoid hurdles. So you want to ask yourself, okay, so when I say when you walk in, what do I really mean there? Do I mean you, the reader? Or do I mean something else? Well, in this case, we mean what, the customer, the patron, however you want to say it. So let's change it to the customer. Or when a customer, right? Because this could be any customer. And knowing that we've just made that adjustment, we now need to say walks in, right, to make that grammatically correct. So when a customer walks in, the store is airy and bright, and the rock music that they play is both upbeat and relaxing. Okay, cool. So we have that, right? We have that sort of notion of what the store feels like when you walk in, what it sounds like. We can develop that a little bit more, right? And provide another example by saying, typically the music that they play is a mixture of classic rock and new rock tunes. Boom. Right? So, you kind of have a little bit more specificity there. If you wanted to go even further, you could even say it's not uncommon to hear, let's say, Stairway to Heaven play right after a song by Blink-182. I know that's kind of an older band, but they're both older. It works. So now we've gotten even more specific here. So we can see, okay, so, the store is airy and bright, and the music they play is upbeat and relaxing. Typically, the music that they play is a mixture of classic rock and new rock tunes. It's not uncommon to hear Stairway to Heaven play right after a song by Blink-182, right? So we've now kind of done the same thing that we do in the intro and kind of become more specific as we go. Right? If you think about this in terms of outlines, right, each thing that goes underneath and inside, I guess I'm not sure exactly what the terminology is for an outline, right? But in an outline, you kind of have, you kind of have one of these, and then, oh goodness, word, stop it. So we'll do that. And then the next one, you've got that, the next one like that, right? So each of these things, this one narrows this one, and then this one narrows this one, right? So you want to follow that kind of same structure, right? This notion of starting out a little bit broad, making it a little bit more specific as you go. Okay, cool. So we've now kind of talked about the music part. Let's see. I'm going to make a highlight here real quick about the store being airy and bright, because I don't know about you, but I didn't see anything in this paragraph about what the store looks like to develop that. So we may either add some more or take that out. Okay, so let's just leave that on the back burner for now. That's why it's blue. It'll stick out so that I can find it later on. Let's look at this next sentence. I really love to sit in the booth in the back corner because most people sit at the front of the store, so it's really quiet, and I usually like to work there while I eat. Okay, first of all, that sentence is like, going down a river with rapids. on a kayak, right? It's kind of twisty and turny and just it makes you go all over the place. So we're going to need to revamp not only the first person that's in there, right? Those eyes, we need to take that out, but we're also going to want to tweak how it's actually written. Okay, so let's make it more universal, right? This idea of being able to have a quiet corner and work while you eat, right? That's the main thing that this sentence is trying to say. So let's kind of play around with this a little bit. Let's see. Someone who dines in at Moe's, whoops, has the option to sit in the crowded front area of the store or to go to the more private area in the back. All right, so as I've written that, now I'm thinking, okay, the back area is not private, right? But it's to the less populated area in the back, right? So we kind of tweak it as we go. We throw in words as placeholders and then go, it's not perfect. Let's change it, okay? So we've now got someone who dines in at Moe's has the option to sit in the crowded front area of the store or go to the less populated area in the back. Okay, so we've now taken this part about people sitting, most people sitting at the front. Let's cross that out because we know we talked about it. And this notion that the back is quiet, so we can take that out. And this is also part of it, right? The back corner. Let's make sure that we're making, that we're kind of crossing things off as we go. Okay, so the only thing that we really didn't discuss, right, because this notion of I really love is implied because I'm writing this essay, so we can take that out. The only thing that we haven't said is that this idea that people work while they eat. So in a store like Moe's, people hanging out with friends sit toward the front, and those looking for solitude or trying to work sit in the back. All right, so let's look at our two sentences side by side here. So we've got someone who dines in at Moe's has the option to sit in the crowded front area of the store or to go to the less populated area in the back. In a store like Moe's, people hanging out with friends sit toward the front, and those looking for solitude or trying to work sit in the back. Okay, that sounds stronger, doesn't it? Now, there is one thing, right, because we've just identified Moe's here, and we're talking about it again. We've also used the word store in both sentences, right? You've got it here, you've got it here. Let's take out that, that repetitive part here. What can we say? Let's see. Well, what about that? Can we just take that out? So let's read it out again. Someone who dines in at Moe's has the option to sit in the crowded front area of the store or to go to the less populated area in the back. People hanging out with friends sit toward the front. I'm going to write tend to, right? Because if we say that they sit toward the front, that implies they always sit toward the front. And you don't want to do that because the only thing that happens 100% of the time in life is that, there is not a single thing that happens 100% of the time. That is the only absolute truth, right? So people hanging out with friends tend to sit toward the front, and those still implying, that they tend to, right? It's not 100%, looking for solitude or trying to work, sit in the back. All right, so we've now checked off all of our boxes here. So I'm going to get rid of this sentence. And then we have also the air conditioning is set at a temperature that does not make me freeze like most other fast food places. Okay, I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, okay, let's see, store's airy and bright. the rock music they play is upbeat and relaxing. We talk about the rock music, and then we talk about kind of the physicality of the location. So maybe what I should do is I should go back and change this, that the store is airy and bright, right? Because we haven't talked about that anywhere in the essay, and we want to be a little bit more clear for the reader, right? We want to make sure that we're only talking about things that help make the point and that we're going to develop. So we could say, let's see, I'm going to actually take out you here so that way we don't get distracted by the highlight. So the store is usually large and offers multiple levels of, I don't like levels, and say multiple options for seating. Okay. Now that we're addressing this, I'm going to get rid of that highlight. So let's take a look here. When a customer walks in, the store is usually large and offers multiple options for seating, and the rock music that they play. Okay, so we've got an and that makes it clunky. So let's take out the and, include a comma, and change that to offering multiple options for seating. And the rock music that they play is both upbeat and relaxing. All right, so cool. So that sentence makes a little bit more sense now. It's a little bit clearer for the reader, and we do discuss these things later on in the paragraph. But now if you notice, this idea of, the physicality of the restaurant is something that we don't start to focus on until down here, right? And the rock music, which comes at the end of that sentence, starts right away. Right, so we'll want to, kind of make some tweaks there. We can either move the rock music early, or we can split this into two sentences and, talk about the seating and things like that right after, which I think would be the easiest route for us to go. So let's just kind of do this for the time being. Okay, so we've got our kind of break there, and then we'll put it back. I want to go down here to this first person that we have down in this last sentence. So the air conditioner is set at a temperature that does not make me freeze. All right, so what does that mean? Okay, I am a person who is always constantly cold. So if I can find a place that has air conditioning that's a fairly comfortable temperature, then that works for me, right? And that's where I was coming from when I wrote this. So how can we say that? Let's see, so the air conditioner is set at a comfortable temperature, right? Because I like that when I set it. That does not make me freeze. So I'm going to take that part out. I'm going to say that is not too hot or too cold, like most other fast food places, right? Boom. So we've now taken the first person out of that sentence as well. So let's, kind of take this back, right? Because all of these things refer to this sort of physicality of the restaurant, right? So let's cut it and paste it up here. And let's address this first. So when a customer walks in, the store is usually large, offering multiple options for seating, and provides and is a comfortable temperature, right? So that way the reader knows, okay, we're going to be talking about seating and we're going to be talking about temperature, right? So we've got, multiple reminders of what's coming next, even in our paragraphs themselves. All right, so we're going to want to tweak this next part. So let's see. And the rock music that they play is both upbeat and relaxing. All right, now we remember that this was half of a sentence. So we need to take out this and. Can't start a sentence with and because it makes it a fragment. Whoa, what just happened? Give me 1 second. I'm not sure what happened here. There we go. Okay. So let's take out this and, right? And we need to, kind of tie it in, because remember, this is going to go right here, and we can't just jump from talking about, oh my goodness, it's too hot, it's too cold, let's talk about the music, right? We need something to kind of segue in. So furthermore, that could work, right? It could also be, you could also say in addition, right? And that suggests, okay, these other things that we just talked about are true, but also this, right? Or we can even just go with also. That works as well. I kind of like furthermore. It makes me feel fancy, so I like to use it, right? So furthermore, the rock music that they play is both upbeat and relaxing. So, okay, it's going to make me wonder, who is they, right? Who is they? Let's see. That the workers play where? Well, they play it on the radio, is both upbeat and relaxing. Typically, the music that they play is a mixture of classic rock and new rock tunes. All right. So we've now got play 2 sentences in a row. It's not too bad, but it could be a little bit clunkier. So down here, we can say use, right? Because you use music as a tool to get people to come into your space and stay there, right? So the music that they use is a mixture of classic rock and new rock tunes. Cool. It's not uncommon to hear Stairway to Heaven play right after a song by Blink-182. Good deal. So this paragraph now feels more complete. It's more formal, right? Because I'm not in it anymore, even though I'm implied in it because I'm writing it. But I am physically not in it. You don't see I in there anymore. You don't see you. You don't see our or we or anything like that. The reader's not in it anymore, right? That you. And, we've now got this kind of set up in a way that makes a little bit more sense. It has a little more formality, and it feels nicer, right? And the reason for that is because we took time to play with the organization, and we took time to play with the way that we convey the ideas. So there's one more thing that this paragraph needs, and that's a transition sentence. All right, so since we knew that this is body paragraph 1 about a unique and relaxing environment, okay, we know that the next paragraph is going to be that it offers customers quality food. All right, so what we want in our transition sentence, and I'm going to write it down here so that it has a little label, is we want to combine the information that we just discussed with the information that will be discussed in the next paragraph. All right, so how do we do that? Well, let's see. What we can do is we can say, let's see, similarly to offering a unique and relaxing environment. Note that's a buzz phrase again, right? That's our forecast element. So similarly to offering a unique and relaxing environment for their customers, Moe's also provides quality food. Boom. And we've now tied this notion of a unique and relaxing environment for customers into this thing that's coming next about food. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this and paste it where it needs to go. What is Word trying to tell me here? There does not need to be a comma. So that's what I'm talking about. Because the comma, Moe's, now I'm hungry, sorry. Word is trying to tell me that it wants a comma here, but the comma for this hangs out over there. Okay, so, sometimes it is incorrect depending on your sentence structure, but it does make you think, when I saw that little blue line, I was like, okay, did I put a comma? Where did I put it? All right, and then once I found it, I knew it was right. Okay, so it's just providing you with a reminder to check. Okay, so I'm going to take out this extra info about transitions, and we've now got our thesis statement, and we have our first body paragraph. All right. So are there any questions about anything else? Because I don't want to take up a huge amount of your time. It's already 2:42. I know, we have kind of an hour set, but I'm done with the material that I wanted to cover for today. So is there anything that you guys want to bring up that we could discuss, to take away any sort of confusion you might be having or anything like that? Oh, is there any way that you can change your topic? Absolutely. If you feel like your topic's not working for you and you want to change it, you can change it at any point. Okay, and this is a great time because we're not quite so deep into the project that you're going to be struggling to catch up, right? We've just completed our thesis and potentially maybe our outline as far as looking forward. So yeah, totally change your topic. Just send me an email identifying what that topic change will be. You don't have to redo any of the previous assignments that you've already completed. Okay, so just do those on your own unless you'd like feedback from me, about your thesis statement, for example. Then reach out and let me know.